Hi everybody, welcome to a new series of tutorials on Riffer from Audiomodern. So what is Riffer? Riffer is a creative sequencer and really a good one. In this video I'm going to give you a demonstration on how you can use it inside AUM, and therefore you will be able to hopefully follow it and understand how to use it. But I will create also other videos as well. I have a number of codes to give away courtesy of Audiomodern, so please follow the instruction in the video description and also check the top comment in the comments section to check if the competition is still active or to check if you have won a code. So as I mentioned, we are inside AUM, so let's create 4 audio channels, and the reason for the 4 will become very evident in a moment. And also let's create a MIDI channel, and inside that MIDI channel let's search for Riffer, like so. Okay, and here we are. Now let's call for some setup for some synth. So on the first audio channel, let's search for a bass, because I would like to create something more around the modern jazz type of piece. So let's choose bass 808. Inside, let's choose the upright bass, which I tried before, so it should be nice. Let's also decrease the volume because otherwise you will pick. And let's connect these to Riffer. And also let's make that to receive only on channel number 1. On the second channel, I would like to choose something like an electric piano, so something from Apesoft, electric vintage, and let's configure that to receive again from Riffer, but only on channel number 2. On the third channel, let's choose something like a type of orchestra, so something like symphonic from iSymphonic, like so. Let's choose a preset, something like, let's maximize the window, the full Legato Orchestra, which sounds nice. And let's connect these again to Riffer, and we get these to receive only on channel, MIDI channel number 3. And finally, I want something like a solo instrument, so let's choose a sax, the essential sax. And let's configure that to receive from Riffer and only on MIDI channel number 4, like so. And let's go inside the essential sax to see how that works. And let's also emphasize a little bit the play. Okay, perfect. So let's go inside Riffer now and let's maximize the window. Very busy interface, but actually very straightforward and very powerful. So let's start to create a composition, and as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, treat this composition as a tutorial. So you can see you have a piano roll here. So indeed you can click on some notes like so, and click play. And what you'll see is that it is playing the notes that I selected on the piano roll for on the first audio channel. How do I know that it is the first audio channel? Because I have selected here R1 or Riffer 1 for generator number 1. Okay, and there are 4 of them. That is why I created the 4 audio channel, which you can select, of course, clicking on each one of them. You can also click again on the channel to mute it as well. So and also, if you go on the settings up here, you can also see that to the first channel, you have channel number 1, to the second one, channel number 2, and so on. This is just where you can do your configuration. So let's delete this. So we click here on the rubber and we delete everything. As you can see here, you have a vertical bar, which you can move up and down. So let's move these down to the very probably where it says C0, starting from C0. And the reason is important where it starts and it finishes is because Riffer generates notes based on what you see on the piano roll, so that becomes very important. The other thing is here you can, with the minus and plus sign, you can increase or decrease the zoom of the window, so you can add more notes for generation At the moment, I would like to keep it like so. Okay. Here you have the key of the scale that we are going to use, so C, and here we have the scale minor. And you can choose a lot of different scale, and I have created some of them here. Where it says 145, I created a scale which contains only the root and the fourth and the fifth in terms of intervals. And to create scales is very easy. For example, you can choose the root and the fourth and the fifth, like so, and then you click on the menu here, you click save new scale, and it will save the scale for you. And you can of course delete them as well, at least the one which you have created. So again, let's delete what we have on the screen. So if I click on the dice here, it will generate some random notes based on some of the settings which we'll go through in a moment. So let's click on it and let's click play. Okay, next thing to look at is here you can shift up and down octaves, so you can go lower or above, so by 12 semitones, so an octave. So I'll leave it like that for now, and you can move it to the right or to the left, what you see on the screen, and also up and down as well. Now, it is pretty fast as a bass, so let's change the duration of the note. Here it says 1/16, so let's go to 1/8 and play that again. Okay, that sounds good. So the next thing I want to do, which you can do, is to choose how many steps you have here. You click and hold to move up and down. You can choose how many steps you have. Okay. And as you increase the number of steps or decrease the number one, it will change also the length of the loop. Okay, so in this case, let's move this to 16th, and then let's increase again the loop size to 16. Note also that you can choose the start and end of the loop acting on these little handles where you can see the dots, so you click and you move like so, and you can also move the beginning. When you click play, it will play only between that region. Okay, sounds good. So next, what I would like to do is to reduce the number of notes which are in the 16 steps. And actually, let's make these 8th step for simplicity, and let's keep the loop up to 8th step, so we'll play the entire loop. And what we are going to do is we are going to click here, and so here, and move up and down, and we are going to reduce the number of steps or notes which will be included. So how to do that? Just click on it. Let's say that we want only 6 notes, press enter. Next time that we generate, you can see there are some great notes with or steps which will not be played, like this one and that one. Okay, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes, but it is an 8th steps like so, and it is defined as an 8th step loop as well. The other thing as well to note is you can force it to generate a number of root notes. That is why it is important to select the root note. In this case, it is active and it says generate only up to 1 root note. If we say 2 and we click again the dice, you'll have 2 root notes which have been created. Okay. So let's generate others again. Next thing to which is important, you see 2 notes here, they are the same, they are repeated. So if I click play, if I select tie notes, you will see this symbol up here, which means the note is actually held, so it's not repeated. Okay, sounds good. And also what you can do randomly, you can also add some sustain notes. So when this note is played, it will sustain for longer. So let's try. You probably notice some repetition around this step, and that is because we have an option here called density. If I click on it, it shows you the density or the number of repetition for that note. In this case, it says repeat up to 8 times, which I don't really want. So let's take this down, but it could become useful. The other thing as well is if you don't want the density to be part of the generation of notes, when you have selected, you click here on the lock. so next time it will not add any density variation. The same works for velocity. You can see the velocity here, the duration of the notes, and also the pitch, which is the standard view. So let's generate these again, and let's click play. Okay, perfect. So hopefully this is starting to make sense. The next thing I want to show you is the shuffle, which is very good if you want to add some groove. So let's try. So the tempo has now changed, which is quite important. It is playing from left to right, as this arrow says, but you can have it to play the opposite, or ping pong left and right and continuously. But for this purpose, let's leave that to left to right. So it would be really nice if this would be auto-generated at the end of the measure or the bar, and you do this activating this infinite symbol. And you can also decide if to generate a new sequence every time at the end of one bar, or if you want that bar to be repeated twice, or etc. I leave it to be repeated, to be generated at the end of each bar. Let's click play, and you see that it will be auto-generated every time it goes to the end of that bar. Okay, perfect. So now let's move on to the second channel here, and let's make some configuration. Let's set these up to 1/8 as well. Let's have tie notes. Absolutely. Let's block the density. I don't want the density either. I want infinite, and let's click play. So decreased a little bit the volume. The other thing I would like to do, let me go back to the first channel, is to choose a different type of scale, and let me choose the scale which contains the first, the fourth, fifth and seventh for the bass. And for the second one, let's choose instead another scale which I created, which is this one, which contains the first, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh intervals as well. And let's click play again. Okay, let's reduce the scale here, because it would be nice if, let's go back to pitch, and let's reduce the size of the scale like so, and let's also add some groove as well, and 4 root notes repeated is nice, so let's click play again. So this is starting to get even more interesting. So let's go to the third channel now. Let's select a simple scale only with 3 notes, because I want to play some strings here. So again, I put the length here to 4. I give it, I don't give it some groove. Let's see what it sounds like. I set these to 1/4, and I have some tie notes and also some sustain, and perhaps lower an octave, and let's try. Okay, let's go back to Riffer. I adjusted a bit the volume. So we are still on channel number 3. So let's perhaps increase the number of steps, because there's not a lot of variation. So let's go to 8 step. Let's make sure the loop is definitely 8th, and let's increase the number of notes here to why not, let's do 6. Okay, and let's play again. I find it too fast, so let's reduce the speed to half, and let's try to lower also the octave and see how it sounds like. let's leave it there for now. Let's go to the fourth track. Let's set it 1/8. Would be nice. Let's set it to definitely have a lot of groove, a maximum to have tie notes but no sustain notes. Let's set it to D scale over here. No density because we don't want a repetition. Okay, and we definitely want to auto generate at the end of the bar, and let's try. Okay, let's pause here. Instead of having 16 notes on a 16 steps loop or measure, let's reduce that down to 10, like so. And let's try again. The other thing which is really nice, you can actually activate this symbol here, which means that the sax will play only when it receives MIDI messages. So if I come out from that, I go to the sax and I activated the keyboard, I click play, and it's only when I touch on the keyboard that the sax will play, and this gives you more flexibility. Of course, I forgot I should have linked the keyboard to Riffer, because Riffer needs to receive the messages, not the sax AUV frame. But as you can see, it now works. So as you can see, very interesting effect that you can create, a composition you can create very easily with Riffer. Other things to know is when you found something that you like, you can click your own presets, and then you can record your preset over here. And of course you can go back to the view just clicking on this icon again. If you are doing a composition and you find that some notes are actually quite nice and you like them as they are, you can click on the notes here and then you select the notes, and you can see the green color here. And that means that every time that the generation of notes happens, the note's pitch will stay the same, but it will change the duration, velocity and density, of course, if it is active. If you want to stop the duration velocity to change, we use the step instead of the notes option here. And when you click on the notes, you will find that you will have a blue color instead of that greenish color. And of course, if you want to remove that, you click on this back arrow and then you go back to the beginning, so they will not be held. There's another option here called R for reflection, so it mirrors this left to right, which is always handy. You have a bit per minute, but of course if you're using it as a host, it will take the bit per minute from the host. You have an undo function, a panic function, and also a learn function. And of course you can edit your preset, you can import them if you recorded it, for example, with a different version of Riffer, for example, on a desktop. And of course you can see some of the settings here which I showed you earlier. So hopefully this is a good enough introduction on how to use Riffer. As you can see, it didn't take me that long to create a nice composition. So let's listen to it again. Okay, I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Bye.